What time is it? I gotta get up now? Where's my coffee? Okay. I gotta do things. Okay, I guess I'll do things. If that's you in the morning, and trust me, it is definitely me, then stick around, grab your coffee, because today we're going to talk about a real morning routine for writers. Cheers. So look, my morning routine is not always perfect. It's probably almost never perfect. But I have come to realize that mornings are the best time for me to work on my writing. So I try to optimize my morning routine so that I can get the most writing time in. My morning routine is a very, very modified version of the Miracle Morning from Hal Elrod. It contains pieces of that, and his morning routine is super motivational, so you can always check out his book. I will link to it in the comments. So the first thing that you should do when you're trying to create a morning writing routine is to work backwards. Let me explain. First, decide how much time you can reasonably give yourself in the morning before the rest of the world comes knocking on your door. If work emails usually start rolling in by 8 and your phone starts blowing up with notifications around that time, make sure that you can get in as much writing as you want before 8 o'clock. If the kids all start getting up at 7 and start needing breakfast and needing help getting ready for school, then that's gonna have to be your stop time. Start by picking an end time. I start work at 8:30, and luckily I work at home, so I only need about 10 minutes or so to wash my face, get myself ready, change from one set of comfy clothes into another, and get back to the desk that I was probably already sitting in. But I work that into my schedule so that I know I need to be done writing by about 8:20 or so. Once you know what time you need to end, you can decide how much time you can reasonably give yourself for all the things you want to get done in the morning, including your writing time. It might only be 20 minutes, maybe it's 30 minutes, maybe you can make it an hour, but now you know and you can work backwards and decide what time you need to get up. And once you know what time you need to get up, my next tip is don't snooze. I know. It's a tough one. I am terrible about this one. I'm constantly working on it, but as you will see, my morning routine is not perfect. I still snooze sometimes, but trust me, when did it ever end up feeling really good the second time you woke up after hitting that snooze button? Probably didn't. You think it will. You think that extra 10 minutes is gonna make all the difference in the world, but that second time the alarm goes off sometimes feels even worse than the first. So just do your best to get up on the first alarm. Don't hit snooze. And one way that you can help yourself do that is to make the first part of your routine something you actually enjoy. So my next tip when you're creating a morning routine for writers or morning routine for yourself is you need to make it work for you. There are a lot of morning routines out there that look fantastic. I watch reels or TikToks of influencers that wake up with hours to spare before they need to get to whatever it is they do. They make a delicious looking breakfast, they make their bed, they tidy up, they take a shower, they get full on ready, they probably get some exercise in there, they go outside and take a walk, they make their slow French press coffee. It's insanity. It looks exhausting. And trust me, I've tried it before. I've tried to duplicate the morning routines that I thought looked perfect and wonderful. And spoiler, it didn't work. First off, in these reels and videos, it's usually bright and sunny and beautiful first thing in the morning. But in Michigan, that is almost never the case. especially in winter. And trust me, it is a lot harder to jump up out of your bed and get to your day when it's cold and gloomy and cloudy outside. The only way I can get myself up and out of bed in the morning with enough time to do the things I want to do is allow myself to do some of those things in bed, which is probably a no-no in a lot of these routines and all these books about the optimal morning routine, but it works for me. So I'm awake, and if I haven't hit snooze, I'm already winning. First, I get up to get the coffee that hopefully the night before I set to start brewing before I even got up. I get that coffee and then I get back in bed. Yup. And here's where some elements of the miracle morning come in, even though I've already broken some of the rules. I set a timer and I read for about 10 minutes. Usually I read something nonfiction in the mornings or something inspirational. Very rarely fiction first thing in the morning because I know that I will get sucked into the story and not want to go do anything else. Then when I'm done reading, I set a timer and I journal or work on what's called morning pages for about 10 minutes, both while sipping my coffee. Morning pages are something from Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way that you can read more about if you would like to check out her book. I'll link to it in my comments. And really, according to her, you are supposed to do those first thing before you do anything else. But again, I'm adapting. I like reading before I journal sometimes because it gives me something to journal about. I will journal about what I just read, or if it made me think of something else, I'll journal about that. But there is a lot of benefit to journaling first and just getting out everything that's in your head, and that's what she talks about in the morning pages. When I'm done reading and journaling, I set another timer and I meditate for about 6 to 8 minutes. Yes, still in bed. To meditate, you do not have to be on the floor, on a pillow. You don't even have to be cross-legged. I stretch my legs out in front of me. I do sit up straight, not kind of lounged back in bed, straight and tall so that I can breathe freely. And my meditation game is not perfect, and it never will be. Sometimes I repeat something in my head that's important to me to be focusing on at the time. Sometimes I count backwards slowly just to keep myself focused and my mind occupied on that. Sometimes I just sit in silence trying to focus on my breath and directing my thoughts back to my breath if they start to wander, which they do and they will. Then, once I've journaled, read, and meditated, had a little bit of coffee to get my brain going, then I write. Sometimes still from my bed, sometimes if at this point I'm starting to feel a little stiff from sitting, I get up and move to my desk. Sometimes I get real writing done, and sometimes I just sit and think or make notes or reread stuff that I've already written. Whatever I do, it's my time to focus on my writing projects. I don't work on marketing my work. I don't work on copy for ads. I don't work on YouTube stuff or stuff for anyone else. I work on my writing. Or at least that's my rule that I sometimes break because I'm human, and so are you. This is the most important part of my morning routine, the fact that I use my mornings to work on my writing. And yes, sometimes I slip and break my own rule. But the days I dedicate to my writing are my favorite, and they make me feel the best throughout the rest of the day. And that's what a morning routine should do. Now here's the secret. This doesn't happen every day. There are mornings where I chat with friends about writing, and that helps fill me up just like journaling or meditating or reading first thing in the morning does. There are some days where I lead online writing sessions first thing in the morning, and on those days, sometimes I just jump right out of bed and go straight to those. My routine adapts to my life and to my schedule, and I have to let it, because if I don't, I will feel horrible and guilty and awful. If it helps me reach my goals, if it helps me feel better about my day, that's a great morning routine. That's a real morning routine. And yes, there are lots of things I know I should do in the morning. I should get more movement in. I should go outside and get light on my eyes. But it just doesn't always work out. But don't get caught up on the things you should be doing for your morning routine. Do the things that are going to make you feel good, because that's how you should start your day, not with a ton of guilt. We get enough of that throughout the rest of the day. So that's a real morning routine from a real writer. It's not perfect, but it's what works for me. Thanks for getting real with me today, warriors. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more real content like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Now, go fight for your creativity. Fine, I'll get up.